Hello and welcome. Today I want to explore an idea that I've been thinking about for a few months, and that is combining my wallet with my Roaring Fire Pico Fire pouch. It's not exactly the most convenient way of carrying your money or your wallet inside an EDC pouch. The idea is a bit bulky and not very practical in some cases, but nonetheless I want to explore how to implement an EDC pouch along with my wallet. And what I have here today is sort of an experimentation on that idea. Here on the table we have a whole bunch of items. We have my keys, my original wallet that I usually carry, my VX1R, which is my EDC radio, and the optional carrying one which I carry is the VX7R also. I'm a ham radio operator, so I always have my radios on me whenever I go out and about. And I typically carry a handkerchief of some sort and my phone. Here we can see two versions of the Roaring Fire Pico Fire EDC pouches that I've made. One has all the items that I've taken out of this wallet and put it into here. And as you can tell, it's a similar size and diameter as to my version 1 EDC wallet, or rather version 1 pouch. And let's go over and open this up real quick just so you can see what's inside the version 1. Not the best organizational item. In fact, it's kind of a mess up here in the top left, which kind of gets my OCD going. But I have everything I need: lights, cutting tools, lighter, lip balm, and some extra items over here in the credit card spots here. And that's particularly why I chose to use this platform as an EDC wallet, because it has these dividers, which lends itself pretty well to holding credit cards and ID cards and things like that. Plus it has a little mesh pocket down here that expands out when you unzip it. So you can put a lot of loose change and other loose items in there that you can store that you normally would not be able to fit in these slots or these webbings. Let's go ahead and take everything off the table here and go over the EDC pouch itself. Before we begin with opening up the pouch, I want to go over the specifications for this, and that is the environment it's designed for is a rural 3-season kind of area where you would have late fall, winter, and early spring seasons, where I would be wearing a coat that has multiple bigger pockets where I can store this bigger type of wallet with me without having to carry a EDC pouch like this and a wallet. So that is the idea behind it. In the execution though, it's not exactly the most practical thing, but let's begin and look inside the wallet. On the front here, we have an Ouchie Boo Boo kit in here. Now that is a $1.25 store Boo Boo kit that I bought pre-made, and I also added in some triple antibiotic ointments inside of it, 2 packs. So we have that in a Ziplock bag in the front pouch for easy access. Is it the most practical thing to carry with a wallet? Maybe, maybe not. You can debate that. But I do have it in this kit here, and it does bulk it up a little bit in the front, as you can see. We have a hook and loop field in the front. I typically don't carry any pouches, or rather markers that go on here, or any patches and things like that. On the back here, we do have another zipper pouch. I'm currently using it as a reserve bank of cash, which I have in a small Ziploc bag. And that's about it, because it's relatively taken up space and it's very slim, so it lends itself to dollar bills inside of there. Let's open up the main pouch and take a look inside the main pouch here. So as you can see, we have a variety of different items in here. We have a whole bunch of organizational methods, each separate side, much like the other version 1 that I have. We have the credit card slots and ID slots. For reference, I'm not going to take these out, obviously, for ID purposes, but we also have a slot where we can put our cash into, or loose cash. Let's start on this side and go over some of the items I have and why I have it in here. Starting with this item first, this is the Refyne P1 titanium gradified pen light. I've had this for almost 2 years now. It's an L-bolt style actuator type of pen. It's a nice fidgety option to have in the kit if you want to just play around with the actuator inside of it. We do have a Lamy M22 insert inside of it, and this has a detachable, rechargeable flashlight head, and it's a micro USB rechargeable item. It has two different modes, a high and a low, and the low runs for a couple hours, which is very useful in my needs. So we want something that could combine both a light and a primary writing element in the pouch. Next up is the main tool of the kit. This is the Leatherman Squirt P4. They don't make this model anymore, but it is a plier-based type of multi-tool. We have a typical small needle nose plier, a regular plier, and a wire cutter in the center, a light duty one. It's spring operated here. If we close it back up, you can access the other tools from the outside scales. We have a blade, and then we also have a file. We have single hatching here, and we have cross hatching here, and we also have a nice toothed section on the bottom. We also have a small awl. Then we have a small slotted screwdriver for precision work. And then we also have a Phillips head screwdriver here. And then we also have a bigger slotted screwdriver with a bottle opener. Or a bottle cap opener, if you will. And that is our primary tool for the kit. Underneath this these two webbings here, we have a bigger channel. I just keep a small combo tool here. This is a whistle and ferro rod combo. I got this off of eBay for about $7. So you have a striker in it. You can use that to get your sparks, and we have a small whistle. I wanted to keep a good whistle in my kit, or at least a semi-decent whistle. It's not the quality of like the SOL survival type whistles, but it does work, and it is a small profile and a multi-use item. Next to it, we have just a dollar store buy and a pack of 3. You can get these lighters. Basic lighter, not reusable. You basically use them up, throw them away, unless you want to keep the flint inside of it and use that for another project. So this is our first, or rather second fire starting method, and our primary method too at that. Normally I'd wrap these with cordage and or a type of duct tape or some kind of tape to use to start fires with. Next up, we have the Fenix Ld02. I recently found this light on Marine X's channel when he was doing a live feed. Thank you to Marine X for showing me this. I picked one up and I liked it. And the reason why I picked this one up in particular is that it is a AAA battery light, meaning it has a modular battery system, which you can replace the batteries easily. I wanted something with a modular replaceable battery system for a lighting element. And it has a higher CRI type of LED inside of it, a Cree XQ-E LED at a warm temperature rating of 3000 K. I particularly like my warm temperature rated LEDs. Even though this one does have artifacts in the beam, it's still practical for my needs at this price point of about $30. What also it features is a 365 nanometer wavelength LED inside of it. This can be incredibly useful for detecting chemicals and things like that. So that's also why it's in the kit. I typically like to carry some kind of a UV lighting element on my kits with me if it's going to be a wallet or a small type of kit. And it's a clicky push button UI, so it's fairly simple to navigate and operate. Next up is another multi-tool. This is an Olight Prybar, and I have it wrapped in some cardboard with electric tape around it for use, for electronical use. It has a sharp point in the front, and that's why we keep it in this sort of makeshift cardboard sheath. We can see the prying tool here, and a bunch of other slotted tool sections for this to be used with, and a bottle opener again. So this is a fairly strong item, and I would want to put the wear of prying things on this particular tool instead of my knives, for example. We also have a ruler here in inches, so that can come in handy as well. Last but not least, in the bigger webbing channel slot here, we do have a couple of zip ties. These come in handy for tying things in hard to reach places, and and these are pretty effective for that, and they're small size for our EDC Wallet kit. Are they practical for a wallet per se? Probably not, but we're combining and experimenting with our wallet kit here. So I might end up taking things out of here to reduce the size and bulkiness. This might be something I might take out, but it doesn't take up a whole lot of space and bulk in my opinion. Moving to this back pocket here, it runs the whole entire section of the wallet. We do have a key holder fob here, and I didn't attach anything to that particular thing, whereas I attached more items to this little holder here. We have a Victorinox Signature Lite mini tool, and the reason why we have this in the kit here is because it has a very high quality pair of scissors. And as an EDC kit, I feel like having a good pair of scissors in your EDC kits is a must, at least in my world. I use scissors fairly a lot, and especially with cutting loose strands of, say, threading from clothing to paper to tape to anything. These are the best scissors on the market for a small multi-tool, in my opinion. Better than the Leatherman and the Gerber type scissors for precision and sharp work. And then we also have the typical slotted / Phillips head type of screwdriver. Looks like it's more for slotted type of screw. And then we have the nail file here. And then we also have the traditional pen blade that you would find on classic SD model type of Victorinoxes. So this would be a secondary precision blade compared to the Leatherman that we carry in the kit. Now this particular model has two special features that you don't normally find. Since this is called the Signature Lite, part of what they have in the Signature Lite model is a ink pen inside of here, a ballpoint one, which you can replace the ink inserts as well. So that's pretty practical as a backup writing utility for your pen light here. And in addition to that, we do have the white LED with its also replaceable coin cell battery inside of it. So this is a pretty practical item as well. If you want to see something really quick in the kit, you can use this without having to pull out your primary and or secondary lights. I typically like to carry 3 types of lighting elements in addition to fire starting elements in the kit. This doubles as a writing device, a cutting device, and an illumination device, all in one small factor like this. So that is my justification for having it in the small EDC Wallet kit. Is it practical? Maybe not, since we have so many methods of lighting and we do have one method of writing, but it's something that I could fit in here and I'm experimenting with it. Further down, our last item on this little lanyard is this small nail clipper. I got this off eBay for about $5. It's nice, slim, and small and effective, and it pops out and it goes back into a small form factor, which lends itself pretty well for this particular type of EDC kit. Now, is it practical for an EDC wallet? Maybe, maybe not. I typically use these to cut the zip ties down to size so they don't stick out, and also my nails, obviously. Further in this pocket, we do have some extra items. We have a small Lamy M22 ink insert for the Refyne P1 pen. And the last item we have in this deep pocket is a bag full of hair ties. I typically use these instead of regular rubber bands as they tend to last a little bit longer. And I used to have long hair, but I no longer have it. But this still serves the function of a pretty practical rubber band. And that is it for this side of the pouch. Moving over to this side, you can obviously see the different credit card slots here. I'm not going to take these out for ID identification purposes, but we'll go over the mesh pocket down here. I have several items in here packed a certain way so that it fits nicely when I close the clamshell pack. In here I have a Ziplock bag with a birthday candle, sewing thread, and waxed dental floss along with 2 needles. And I also have another bag with 2 small types of paper clips and a larger paper clip. So I wanted to have something that had cordage in the kit that I could access relatively easily. And this is sort of an experimentation at doing it myself kind of crafts where I have an item that I want to use the space on. Normally I do something like this with pens, but I decided to apply the idea to a birthday candle here. Obviously, a birthday candle is a good prolonging illumination device and fire device, so I managed to not only stick extra cordage on it, but a sewing thread and a small mini, very mini emergency sewing kit. So this is not something I'm going to go to and use every single time. This is something that I just want to use in case I don't have it on me. I have it in my kit here. Is this entirely practical to carry with your wallet? Probably not, but it's something to experiment with again. And you can find these little birthday candles in a pack of like 20 for $2 at the store, and these sewing kits at the $1.25 store, and the wax too as well there. So these are very budgeted items that I like to play and experiment with. And this is our small bag full of the paper clips and a small washer. Since I have an electronic device on me and also the Refyne P1 is rechargeable, we have a micro USB cable along with an adapter for a USB-C port, which my phone uses. Sometimes you run into a power source out in the field or by a computer desk or some kind of electronical area. You can plug in easily and recharge your devices, and that's something I want to take advantage of, and that's why I have it in my EDC wallet. Now, is this also practical? Maybe, maybe not again, because strictly speaking, the wallet should serve a specific function and a quick function at that. That being said, combining these EDC items, that is something to have in an EDC kit along with the wallet. Next up is a small, thin bag with an extra O-ring for the Fenix Ld02. And we have a couple of these small rings here for keychains. In case I want to change up the configuration here, I can use these key rings or change up my keys for the current day. Not to mention I can use these as kind of rigid holders for items and whatnot, and expandability. Here's another one. And we also have a small vial of hand sanitizer. Now, instead of using wet wipe packs where you have to throw it away after each use, I want something that's a little bit more reusable in the field. Since I typically carry bigger containers of hand sanitizer, I can refill this when this is used. It's a multi-use item. It can obviously clean your hands, it can start a fire, purify wounds, things like that in nature. And having a small reusable container just makes sense for the kit. It's small enough that it fits inside the bag here, and it does fit nicely. Last but not least, we have a small button compass. Much like the version 1, we put the same exact compass in here. This is an air dampened type of compass. I prefer the air dampened ones because they tend to last a little bit longer than the liquid filled type ones, button ones at least. And that's not to say that these won't break. They all break eventually. But this is sort of a nicer option for my kit, and in my opinion, a more useful one. And that is it for the mesh pocket down here. Let's go to the upper pocket, and we have a wad of cash in here. Sometimes I like paying for cash with things and they don't take credit or digital modes, so having an analog mode, or money in other words, is not a bad idea. Now there's a back pocket that runs the entire gamut, like this side, on this side as well, and I stuffed a few items in there. Here we have a small packet of matches. These are dampened resistant matches with the striker on the rear here, and it's stapled shut for rigidity. A friend of mine gave me these matches, and I kept them in here as we want another fire starting method, and this is kept in a water resistant bag here. Next to it we have the small flat reflecting mirror in a protective cloth to prevent it from being scratched. I typically don't carry a flat mirror like this. I have homemade reflecting signaling mirrors on a whistle combo type of item that I make, but in this case this is a flat small one, and it does feature a siding hole. This is the Base Glide small reflecting signaling mirror, and it's a metal one. It's not the most reflective type of element, but it is rigid and rugged, and it is a good size for the EDC wallet. Once again, not exactly practical for a wallet type of item, but we're combining EDC with wallets here. Moving along, we do have a few more items in here. We have some duct tape wrapped on itself. I wanted to reduce the size and bulk, so I opted not to wrap this on something flat like a credit card. I'd rather wrap it on itself. And this is about 2.5 feet of duct tape. Not the most useful length in the world, but it does offer me some options for sealing items like potentially bags and whatnot. Next up is a Fresnel lens in a plastic case and a Ziplock bag holder. Obviously, for a fourth method of starting fires, you can use the Fresnel lens to start a fire, in addition to amplification of images. Sometimes you run into people who forget their glasses, or you might forget yours and you can't read what you're looking at. Being able to see what you're looking at is a big thing. Having a magnifying glass makes sense in a wallet, especially if you got to read fine print of documents and things like that of what you're signing. Also, having a bag here for a container for water is also a good idea. And that's it. That's all I have pretty much for the kit here, except for some ID items in the back there that I don't want to show. And that is the basic concept that I've tried to come up with for an EDC carry. Is it the most practical thing? No. Would I carry this in a front pocket of pants? No. This is more designed to go inside of like a jacket pocket or a hidden pocket on the inside of a jacket in the winter, fall, and early springtime, where I have the room to spare for that kind of setup. If it's going to be a summer thing, I'm going to reduce the size of this and probably just have it in that smaller credit card holder, money holder that I have, just so I can offset the bulkiness and increase the accessibility and usability of the wallet. For now, I'm going to experiment with this and see how I feel. I might take some things out. I might add some things, depending on what's going on. Let me know what you guys think, and that's all I have to say for now. Thank you for watching.